So it's a different tool. It's also a test management tool. So mostly used in waterfall methodologies. You don't want to use HPLM in agile because HPLM, this is a little bit a different tool. If you are comfortable with Rally, that's good because Rally is user friendly, but HPLM is not that user friendly. Okay, so it's not like as good as Rally because Rally everything is at one place and it's easy to write a test case and to edit a test case, whatever you want to do. But in ALM, it's it's not easy. I mean, like not kind of like it's easy. It's kind of like redundant work. You'll be doing too much of moving your test cases rather actually working on your project. So it's like redundant work. Okay. So Rally is it's simple. Using Rally. Check someone entering the work. Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Rally, is easy. If you want to execute your test cases, everything is like easy to do. But in HPLM, I mean, um, it's like redundant work. You'll be doing two times the same thing, two times, three times. Okay. Okay. So let's quickly go through HPLM. Okay. So this has modules. So as you can see, this user interface. This has the module and the left side bar. This has the options here. Okay. So our as per our testing is concerned, as per our testing process, we only have like 4 modules. So these modules will be there, but it's not accessible by the testers. By some are accessible as a project manager, some are accessible as a developer. So not all modules are accessible or it is can be shown, but some are hidden. Okay, but here you are able to see everything. Okay, so as a tester, we'll be having access to requirements, only read access, not write. Okay, requirements we don't write. Okay, requirements. Then you have this test plan module, test lab, and defects. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 modules. Okay, you'll be having access to the 4 modules. Okay, let's quickly go through this requirements module. So here you cannot edit any requirement here. Okay, as a tester, if you're going as a BA, of course, you can write your own requirements and based on it, whatever your boss says or whatever as per the requirement, you'll be writing the requirement. Okay, so we will be only viewing this requirement. Okay, as a tester, we'll be only just viewing this requirement, and let's quickly check this. So you see there's a red color. So red colors are actually the mandatory fields. So what's the name of the requirement and what is the requirement type? functional or non-functional. Okay. So we are not supposed to fill any information, so we will not worry about this. But we want to see what are the requirements. So let's say this is the information they provided. Okay, this is the information they provided, and based on this information, right, we need to start writing our test cases. So let's say this is GMO. This can have many iterations. So it's like iteration 1 or iteration 2. Okay, it might have its own child objects. Okay, so these are like directories. Okay, so all these are directories. Inside that you'll have these requirements. Let's say now I've created a directory, and inside that you have this requirement as a GMO requirement. Okay, so you also have these options. Rich text. Okay, so this is not very important. Attachments. If business analyst thinks that okay, there should be a requirement which contains an attachment, then they can upload this attachment. Not tester, no business analyst. Okay, if there is any URL or any screenshots, they can put it here. And link defects. If there are defects to the requirements, so requirement is like user story. Okay, if there are any defects, you can link this defects here. So that means sometimes the defect actually becomes the requirement or user story. Okay. So in that case, you can link this defects. If there's any development activity, who is actually developing, and what are the unit tests, how many is covered, and what is need to be covered. All this information is shown here. And now this requirement traceability. So we'll talk about this. What is the requirement traceability matrix, RTM. Okay, so RTM is actually requirement traceability matrix where all the requirements. Okay, so requirement traceability matrix is all the test case should at least match one requirement. All the test cases should at least match one requirement. In that case, you said RTM is completed. That means requirement traceability matrix is completed. All the requirements has mapped at least one. I'm sorry, all the test cases has mapped one requirement. So next you have this test coverage. How much you have covered this? Okay, so this is business modeling link page. So we don't have much use of this as a tester point of view. Okay, you might have if you are doing as a project manager, if you are something higher than that, then you might use these options. Otherwise, you may not have these options. You may not find it useful as a tester, because as a tester you might not work on these modules. Okay. Risk assessment and then history. You have accessed this, you have created it, all this. So that is about the requirements. So requirements is something created by the business analyst or product owner. So that's a very good question. So yeah, somebody asked us how to write test cases based on the undefined requirement. So what is undefined as per you? Like what do you mean by undefined? If you want me to give some, if you want more information in this, okay, you need to let me know what do you mean by undefined. Okay, so if you want to say like how to write a test cases based on undefined requirements, okay, so you want me to tell like how, what do you actually mean by undefined? See, when you don't have requirements, you need to coordinate. See, when you don't have any requirement document, okay, let's say you don't have any requirement document, and you don't have this BRD, you don't have this FRD, you don't have SRS. Let's say you don't have that, okay, you have nothing. In that case, you need to coordinate with business analyst and set up a meeting. Okay, set up a meeting with developer, QA lead. So all this work is actually is coordinated by the QA lead, and you need to give your inputs. Okay, so the QA lead. Okay, so you need to coordinate with the business analyst, with the developer, scrum master. Okay, and set up a meeting and set up some action plan. Okay, because there is no requirements. So there are no requirements and there is no documents, no BRD, no FRD, no SRS, nothing. So in that scenario, you want to talk to your lead and set up a meeting with business analyst, scrum master, everyone should be available, and to come up with action plan and note down some points. What are we going to test, and how we are going to move forward with that. Okay. Does it make sense? If there is no requirements, if that's what you mean by undefined. Okay, if there are no requirements, no documents, no required documents, no FRD, no SRS, no nothing. In that case, you need to set up a meeting. Okay, you need to coordinate with business analyst, project manager, QA lead, and come up with some action plan saying that, okay, so this is what we are going to test, right? And this is how we are going to develop, and this is how we are going to test, and this is how the project should go. Moving forward, we need to anyway have these documents, because if you don't have document, it is pretty much, it's chaos. Don't. So let's say if you are working in large team, right? If you don't have documents, so who is working on what? Nobody knows. How are you going to track? Okay, so in large team, it is very hard if you don't have documents. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. So any questions? Any more questions in requirements? Okay, so I'm not explaining everything in the comment section because you don't know, as a tester, you're not, you will not be having access. Okay, so you don't have to worry much about this unless you're doing as a business analyst. Okay, so let's go to a test plan. So test plan. So here let's be a little bit specific here. Requirements, where you actually gather all the requirements and have at least documents, documents, at least some information, saying that what is going to be developed and what is going to be tested. Okay, and the test plan, where you actually create the test cases. So don't get confused with this test plan with the document test plan. So that is completely different. That is a document. Test plan document is a high level document which is prepared by the QA lead. Not nowhere related to this. This is something which is for the HPLM. Okay. So you said test plan is a high level document. So is that the same? No, it's not same, because this is nowhere related to document. So that's a completely different document. Test plan, which is nothing to do with this. Okay, this is only for PLM. Okay, this test plan, and what's the use of this test plan? Is used to create the test cases. Okay, test plan module. So this is a module, and that test plan is a document. Okay, just remember that. Test plan in HPLM is module, and test plan in doc. Other than this, the test plan is a document, high level document, and prepared by the QA lead. Okay, here only you will be writing test cases. Okay, and you have next, you have module, you have this test lab. Test lab, you'll be executing the test cases. Okay, So let's and in the defects, you open the defects, create the defects and assign a appropriate developer to that. Okay. So let's go. Let's talk about this test plan. You have this directory. Okay. So there are so many different directories. Okay. So many directories here. So you need to figure it out which directory you'll be working on, which folder. Okay. You'll be looking into it. So let's say if we have this our folder like this. Let's say if you get it out our folder, we have this. Let's create a folder. So to create a folder, make sure you select this directory and click on new folder so that it gets this new folder will be get created into this folder. Okay. So let's create a new. So you can create your own folder whenever you are trying to work so that make sure you are working on your project and you know where exactly the folder is located. Okay. So okay, so let's organize this. So once you have created this, make sure you click on refresh because this doesn't get updated quickly. So you need to click on refresh. So now it gets got organized. Okay. So now you've only created a folder. Now you need to create a test script. Okay, you need to write test cases, right? To write a test cases, you need to create a test. No, it's not exactly test script. It's like test set kind of you're trying to create a test set. Okay, so make sure you click on this folder and click on new test, and you just main this test as previously. Yes. So we'll name it as sim. Yes, we'll be finishing our class by 23rd. So 23rd is the last. So by this week, so 3 more days. Okay. So we just we have created same test script here with the same name. That's correct. Yeah. So we are writing test case in test plan module. So as usual, so we are in your test plan is to write test cases. So that's the only thing we will be doing here. Okay. We are not going to execute in test plan. Okay. So you need to fill up all this information here. In the real time, we'll be doing this. Okay. So the red colors, make sure those are filled because those are mandatory ones. So this level as medium, priority medium, reviewed, not reviewed. So these test cases will be reviewed by your lead. Okay. So if it's not reviewed, put as not reviewed. If it's reviewed, click as reviewed. Review, creation date, today's date. Designer will be the person who is writing this test case. Reviewer will be your lead. Reviewer is your lead. Will be the reviewer. And the status is in design or ready repair. Okay, and test effort, how much time it take? Let's say it is 5 hours. Test priority. Since it's black color, now you can just skip it or accept this one. Okay, so type, if you want to change the type. Okay. If you want to change this, if you want to, it's like, if you're working in load runner scenario, then you'll be putting as load runner. If you're working on automation, then you'll be putting as automation. Okay. which is performance review. So options are available when you are trying to write this test case. Let's click on manual default and description. We can write description here. Test cases. So you know or not. And click OK. Okay. So you have successfully created a test case. Okay. No, you have not exactly created a test case because you just created a, it's kind of space for a test case. Okay. So you have actually, this is like test set which you have created for writing test case. You have not written any test case so far. You have just created a framework. It's kind of framework, you can say. It's kind of it's better to explain as framework. Because here where you'll be writing test case, because you cannot write a test case in folder, right? This is a folder. Okay, you cannot start writing your test case in folder. You need some kind of framework. Okay, so this is kind of framework for your test cases. So we have successfully created only the framework for the test case. Okay, you have these options here, design steps. Okay. Here what we are going to create is our test case. Okay, and then parameters. If you have any parameters, you can add parameters. So this is more important for if you are using as a automation test cases. Then you want to assign these parameters here, and you have this attachment. If there is an attachment, you can attach here. But in test, and actually this, these are all not required here. So why? Because the same thing is there in the test lab. So you don't want like two things, the same thing here and there. Okay, only one thing is good. So let's not worry about all this information here. We'll go to just directly design step. Okay, so here we'll just write some of these test cases. So let's say we are writing the test case for here. We have already written test cases for Chrome, right? Let's say we are writing test cases for Safari. Okay, so click on new step. We want to put a step 1. Okay, so it's like similar what we have written previously. Description and expected result. So what you are trying to do and what is the expected result. So here you just press okay. So this is one step. Let's write one more step. And let's say we are only working on this button, right? So let's say click on. So this test case, let's say we have written for Chrome browser. Now we are writing for Safari. So normally you can copy and paste. Okay, so normally you can do copy and paste. Okay, so you don't have to write the test case for each and every for different browsers. You don't have to write. But here I'm just showing an example. So page is redirected to online catalog page. Okay. Okay. click on one more step. Just try to do stuff. Let's say just enter in. In order quantity. 3% 20. And click on create an order quantity. Expected is page should be billing information page. So page should be based on page. What we do expected is page on page. Okay. So here again, you see this, so after step 1, you are getting like step 3. Okay. So in that case, right, you still have this option like similar to here. Just click on that particular step. So tell you have this box, right? You have this box, this column. Okay, click on that and drag it here to near step 3. No, it's good. Because sometimes, right, the steps instead of 2 it shows up 3, and we need to drag those particular steps and put it later. Okay, so put it in the wherever it is, it's supposed to appear. Okay, still one more step. Then just click on see. And page is navigated to billing information page. Okay, so let's fill out this. And okay, so page navigated to billing information page and click OK. So let's write one more step. Is the order what? Yeah, so that's what I said. Enter all the information. Okay. So, yeah, you can add on to shipping information to. So shipping information, right? If the billing address and shipping address is same, then you can check boxes. So it automatically refills that information. Whatever is there in this box, it gets automatically filled. But if it's not same, then you need to write this address manually. Okay. Just for convenience, we just put as check market, and once you click on this online store receipt, so page is navigated to online store receipt page, and click on OK. Okay, so these are like so I'm just giving an example. Okay, so you need to be detailed. So you need to be more and more detailed when you are writing test case. Okay. Yeah, you can have the test scripts in ALM. So that is you can attach in like anywhere, like you can attach in the attachment section. Okay. So if somebody attached to this test case, okay, so you can view here. So this is the attachment section, right? You can do it here, or you can do it in the test lab. Okay. So you can use this attachment. Then use this attachment if you want any test scripts which are in the UFT. Okay, you want to download it, you can use this attachment module, and you can, let's say you have this attachment. Let's quickly use this. Start. So let's say you want to attach the material, okay? So I'm attaching this. This gets attached. Okay. So here you can attach your scripts. So whatever scripts you want to record, you can attach. This is how you can write test cases in this test plan. And here you can edit. Okay, you can edit here. Each and step. You can either edit there or just click on this. It gets edited automatically. Okay. You want to renumber it. Which numbers you want to use it, and you can delete it whichever you want. So this submodule has the information about what you want to do with the test cases. Okay. And you can assign the parameters here. That's right. Just configurations. So we'll just check about this. Any questions? Any questions so far in writing? So writing test case is similar what we did in Rally, right? It's like similar. Okay, you'll be writing the same test cases, but here you're writing in a completely different tool. So the user interface is like different. So in Rally, you have better user interface. Here you have like different user interface. Okay, any questions? Okay, so this is about the test plan. Okay, let's quickly move to the next topic, which is test lab. So this is what this is what we'll be doing in the test plan. So we are not doing more than this. So once it is done, so this is done. Okay. We are not going to do anything, other than this. Okay. So let's move to test lab. Here you'll be executing your test cases. So you in Rally, right? So Rally is pretty easy to understand if you are comfortable with Rally. Let's say you have this test case, right? So now here you have written your test case. Okay. In the same place you are going to execute it. Just here. Okay. You're actually generating the test result and executing here. But here you're not executing at same place. It has supposed to be executed here itself, right? They didn't make that easy. Okay. And but here you need to go to a separate module and execute it. Okay. So let's say here again you have to do the same thing. Create one more folder here. So we already have this folder. And let's create a new. So here we are just trying to create a script. Okay. I'm sorry. Here you are trying to create a test set. Okay. So you have to do this again for the test. So you have already done this for test plan, right? Again, you have to do the same thing to this test lab. Click on that. And put name it as. Oops. Okay, good. Okay. Once you have, so this is also like framework. When you have not executed anything, you have not done anything. So you are trying to create a framework so that you can put your test cases here. Okay. So far we are just working on creating this framework in this HPLM. But if you see this, in Rally is pretty easy. So you have nothing to do with the framework, right? What is framework? I don't know. So I'm not bothered about anything here. But here you are trying to create all this information just to put your test case, just to execute your test case. You want to do this because you cannot do just directly in the folder, right? If you want, let's say, if you want to write something, you are creating a MS Word or Notepad or WordPad or something like that. Here, the same way we are trying to do. We are trying to create a framework so that we can write our test cases. Okay. And let's put this one. Default. If it's functional, you put as functional. If it is default, let's put on default. And fill up this information. Change that. This date. Close. 23rd. Change time. All this information, you need to put it. So here you can put the status. Is it open or closed? Open. Some duration. Let's put as 5 hours. Responsible. If someone else is responsible, then you need to put as replacement. If we are responsible, then you need to put. And after this, you can write some description. So So you have just created a framework for your test cases. Okay. We have this. Okay, so we have just created a framework. Now what we have to do is, now since there is something wrong here, I have to make sure. All these new IDs assigned for this. You see this test case ID. And we have just all the options for this. You can send an email. Okay, send an email, or you can want to save it. You can do this. Now, what you want to do is you want to fill the test cases which you have written in test plan, because you don't see any test cases here, right? So let's say you have created sets of test cases. Let's say you have created 4 sets. One is for Chrome, one is for Safari, one is for Firefox, one is for Internet Explorer. Now let's see, you need to pull the test cases from test plan. Click on select tests. And so here what you're trying to do is you're navigating this, this is of test plan module. You're trying to navigate this, test plan module here. And need to find out your test case. Click on this, click on 8. Number 8. And this. Either you can click on this and drag it here. Okay. Let's see what solution is. Okay. So the issue we need to change this. Change the baseline. That means we don't want this baseline here. So we'll just select it to none. Okay, so let's put this here and click on OK. Okay, good. Now there's no baseline, so now it's good. Now you can do the same. Now you will not have any issues. Okay. So click on that again, the select test, and click on 8. Okay, the 8 number, and either you can drag it and pull it here, or you can use this button add test set, and you can drag it and here you can pull out the test. Now what you have done is you have pulled a set of test cases. So this has, we have written 5, right? So this has 5 sets. Let's say this is for Safari. You have also have the test case for Chrome. Okay, so you also put this test case for the Chrome. Okay, so let's say you also have this test case for let's say IE. Okay, pull out here. So on. So you can have this sets of test cases. So these are that's why this is called test set. So you can put n number of test cases here, and you want to know which test case belongs to which browser. Okay. Okay. So you can put all the sets here. So I don't want to clog all the information putting here and putting a lot of test cases here and confusing myself. So I would create a different set and put into that. so that I will know like which is it, a Chrome, is it a Firefox, or is it a Internet Explorer, okay, so on. So this is our test case. So we will not worry about this. So let's delete this. So thing is like you can create your own sets. You can have a number of sets here. Okay. And you need to run this test case. Okay, so you need to run this set. Click on run. Once you click on that, again you have to click run. Not sure why is this for. Okay. Again you have to click run. Okay, so this, let's see, why this issue came up is because we didn't check in the code. We didn't check in the, here you see this, we didn't check in. So let's check in. But that means, it's not, in the, let's say it's, the test case is not in the QA. We have just written, this one environment and just want to check in. Click on check in. Check in. Okay. So now this code, now this test case is actually checked in. So now you don't have that issue. Okay. Go to test lab and rerun this again. Okay. Okay. See this? You didn't get any error here. Okay. Okay. Now you have this, test case to run. So let's go one by one. So enter your URL in Safari browser. Let's say I don't have Safari here. Let's take it as Chrome. Just put this URL. We have this. Expected is a home page for GMO Online is displayed. So you want to write some actual result. Home page for GMO Online is displayed as per the requirement. Okay, and click on pass. So this is now pass. That means this step is passed. Okay, and then you have this page is redirected to online. So always when you're trying to do this, right, you need to have this web application ready, and you need to click each and whenever you're trying to run this test case, you need to have this ready and doing it simultaneously. So what I will do is, right, so normally I will first see the application, is it good, and then I run the test case, because so this will take more time actually. If you're trying to use one application and you run test case and another, it might take some time, but it's up to you how you want to do it. Page is redirected to online catalog page. Page is redirected to online catalog page as per the and click on pass. Okay, now let's put as 10. Enter the value 10 for this, and page is navigated to order page. What we'll do is okay. Else. Click on proceed order button. So page is navigated to the information page as per the let's say this test case is not passed. Okay, this test case has issue and it is not passed. and you want to write that issue is, let's say the shipping and handling issue. Let's say issue life impact. And I'll just click on this, fail. So now you just fail it, and now you want to stop. So it's end run, and now even the one test step is failed, the whole set shows as failed. Okay, the whole set, you only failed one test step, but whole status shows as failed because you one, even one is failed. Okay, that means you need to open a defect for that. Okay, so failed status. You can change the status here to make sure you don't do this, because if you are changing right from here, so here you have this option, okay, blog failed, no run, not completed, passed. So you don't want to do this unless you have been told, because whatever you're trying to do is time is being captured here. Okay, so 11:27 you actually executed this 28. You have browsed the next page, so all the information is being stored. So if you, the moment you use this button and want to pass it manually, you will get caught, because there is no executed time, and they'll ask you, so how come you have passed all the selected test case in just 1 second? So there is no possibility to passing all the test cases in 1 second, right? So you cannot change the status from fail to pass manually. You need to do it, one by one. You cannot use this button and just change it here, change it. So they'll catch you. Okay. Because there is, here there's execution time here. So all these execution time will be showing 1 second, 1 second. You cannot, execute all the test cases at 1 second. Okay. So unless if your lead says like, okay, change it right from here, change the status from blog, okay, change from end by A, so in that case you can do it. Otherwise you cannot. You want to skip it, you cannot skip it. Okay, you want to rerun, go just check. Okay, so this is how we successfully executed our test case. Any questions so far? So I know this tool is a little bit complicated, because it's kind of, you want to write a test case in one module, you want to execute this into the another module, and you want to do all these things all different places. I even am not in favor of this, because it makes you to do more work on just writing the framework for the test cases rather writing the test cases. So it's kind of redundant work. Okay, so even I'm not in favor of this, but if you get a project which uses HPLM, then you have to use it. There's no other option. Okay. If you want to use it, then you have to use it. But this is like, if you ask me, this is pretty much outdated, and moving forward, it will get outdated. Okay, because it lacks that user friendliness, right? It's not user friendly, because to understand why we need to pull the test case, there is no reason to pull it. If you are writing test case, you can execute the same test case at this same place, right? Just like you have this rally, you are writing this test case and we are executing right here. Why you need to pull the test case and from one place to another, and creating more one more framework or just to pull out the test case? Okay, so that's a disadvantage of HPLM. I mean, you can say the same. Okay, so when you're talking in interview, or talking to your boss, saying that the reason why HPLM is not so user friendly, because whenever you're trying to write a test case, you need to pull out all the test case from the test plan. Again, you need to pull into test lab. So we are actually, wasting our time just creating the framework for the test cases, okay, and editing the test cases, and executing is far more less, but we are actually working on more on the fair designing of framework for our testing. So, but Rally is far more better tool so that where you are writing the test case, you will be executing the test case in the same case. So that is one thing, disadvantage of this. You can, explain to your boss or whoever is asking you question. Okay, the interviewer or the person you think like is in your interview. So in that time you can explain this. This is the one of the disadvantage of the HPL. Okay, so let's quickly go to this, RTM. So not discuss about this RTM, right? Let's quickly go to this RTM. So, um, so so you can do only in the uh, test plan. So go to the test plan and go to the required coverage. Okay, so requirement coverage. So once you go to this module, so you have this module, right? Details, design steps. Once you go to the requirement coverage, click on select requirement. Click on select requirements, and here you are trying to navigate the requirements module here. Okay, make sure all the requirements are here, and now find that particular folder which we have created. And go to the item icon and click on GMO and just click on this. Either click on this and drag it here, or you can use this. Okay, so now we have actually successfully completed RTM, requirement traceability matrix. That means all the test cases should at least cover one requirement. Okay, does it make sense? All the test cases should at least cover one requirement. That means for that one requirement you have written the test cases. So that's what RTM means. Okay, so this is used for the business analyst and product owner people, so that they can track how many testers are writing, how much what should be there and how much. Okay, so it's for them, more important for them. Okay, so this is about RTM, and RTM is you are being doing in the test plan, not in test lab. Test lab is only for execution, storing the results, attachments, all those. We also have this attachment here, but it's technically not required. But yeah, someone said, right, that you can, if you want scripts, let's say your UFT scripts that you want to execute, you can use this test plan. In the test plan attachments, you can use this instead of test lab, because test lab you'll be storing results. That's a very good question. How do we know that all the requirements is covered? Can we be sure that all the requirements are? So that's a good question. How can we know that all the requirements are being covered? Okay, so let's say you have this requirement, right? Let's go to requirement. So here you don't have this much information written here, okay? But if you have this requirement saying that, okay, test this application, okay? So when you are testing an application, you are supposed to know, like, what are the testing we'll be doing, okay? We will be doing, let's say if you are hired as a functional tester or QA analyst, you will be either doing functional testing or any other testing, okay? Regression, okay? So regression is a completely different thing, so let's not worry about it. Integration or system integration, okay, so on. Let's say you know what is your position. Let's say you are working on functional testing, so you'll be doing only functional testing. Okay, so once this functional testing is, you are in functional testing, now you know what kind of testings you need to do. That means, are you testing in Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, so on? How many browsers we will be using? 5 browsers, so we will be using 5 browsers. For this one requirement, that means you need to have these 5 test sets. Now, once you completed test cases for these 5 test sets, that means you are, you have all the requirements. You have successfully written, covered all the requirements. Okay. I mean, this is one way. I mean, this is not like hard and fast rule saying that, okay, you have completed for 5, browsers. That means, that doesn't mean that, you have completed, all the requirements. You have covered all that. That doesn't mean. You need to check with your business analyst to get more information saying that, okay, you need to talk to them saying that, hey, for this requirement, let's say, for this requirement, GMO post, I've covered, 5 browsers, browser 1, browser 2, browser 3, and so on. Is there anything else? Did I miss something else? Is there anything which I need to, because I think I have covered all the requirements. Is there anything else that I need to cover? Is there something that I need to concentrate on? Okay, you need to check with your business analyst if you're missing something, because they are some, business analyst is someone who needs, who will give you insight of what actually the requirement is. Testing is our job. We know what to test. We are not going to ask what is going to test, but what is to be covered is we need to check with them. Okay, does it make sense? So what, as per testing perspective, we know that we need to cover 5 browsers. So we have covered all the 5 browsers. But other than that, if you have to cover, let's say there is other functionality which we missed in this, which we need to test, we need to check. Check with whom? Business analyst or lead. Or if you are good with the lead, then you can check with lead. And if you once you get a good, once you know who are the team members, you can directly check with them. Yes, so everyone has to go with the given task. Whatever the task is given, you need to make sure based on that. Okay, so as a testing perspective, you have covered all the requirements, but there might be something that you're missing it. Okay, you might miss something because because as I told you, there is no complete information in the requirements, so they'll never mention everything. You need to check with them. You need to check with business analyst, making sure saying that, okay, hey, I have created this there's 5 browsers, but am I missing something? Is there any other feature or any other functionality that I need to test? Okay. So in that case, you need to check with them and cover other, like additional test cases for that particular feature, and make sure you do RTM again for that. Okay. Okay. So we need to just add this one more requirement and say that you have covered even that feature. Okay. Any more questions? So as to start with, coordination is important. So all the documents you'll be having, anyway, you'll be having a SharePoint. So you need to coordinate if you have any questions. So just like that somebody asked, right? So that how do we know this all the requirements have been covered? How do we know? That's right, we don't know. So we need to check with our lead, or lead says, okay, check with your business analyst. Then you need to check with business analyst. Okay. Any more questions? So tomorrow we'll discuss about this defects module and the reports too. And the reports also we can generate like similar way what we have done in Rally. We can do that same thing here too. So if no one have any questions, can we close this class for today? Okay, thank you guys.